Hi there and welcome back. It's Lisa from Critters'n Designs in Ontario, Canada. And today I'm just going to share with you a little quick tip on how I keep my embossing folders organized. So I'm just going to switch down to my desk here. And so I just keep these are all of the current embossing folders that I have. There might be a couple that I don't have, simply because they didn't sort of float my boat, but the ones that I do have that I like I keep them organized here in alphabetical order, so I know where to find it if I need it. And to keep them even more organized, for the last several years, I've made these little tags so that I know what each embossing folder looks like. Okay, so I've made these little tags and I've just used a label topper punch to create the top of each of these tags. Now, unfortunately, there aren't. I looked through both catalogs and the online exclusives, and there are no punches currently like a label topper. But if you do have one that you particularly like, I usually just cut a piece of paper that is 5 inches long by 2 inches across, and then that just fits perfectly in there, and then I just punch it. Obviously I would do it this way, but I'll just punch it out this way so that you see. And then there you have the top of your punch. Okay. Now it doesn't have to be 5 inches long. This was just a piece that I think I was just using up retired card fronts when I was doing them initially. And that's probably how I came up with that dimension. But you could certainly do 4 inches or, whatever. But this morning, because I was cleaning out some scrap cardstock again, and with pieces that are too small to use for a card front or whatever, I decided I would use my, what did I do with right in front of me, my tailor-made tags. And I used the largest one of the square tag. And if you choose on here, around the hole, you can actually cut out the matching, I don't know what to call it, reinforcements, I guess, and glue those on just for a little bit more stability. I've never felt that I needed to do that, but if you have the time and you want to make them fancy, why not? Go ahead and cut out the reinforcements and just glue them on over the holes there to make them a little bit more sturdy. And I may actually do that because the hole on these ones are not as large as the hole on here. So there probably would be a little bit more stress just because that's such a small area. All right, so let me show you how I actually create my tags. So I've pre-cut these, and as I said, what I do is whenever I have pieces that are too small for a card front, I just pop them in an envelope, and then when I have time, I can pop something on Netflix or YouTube and just cut out a bunch of them all at the same time. And I've also made like a little spreadsheet, and I've printed off, these are all the current embossing folders that are available currently with Stampin' Up. And some of them, as I said, I don't have, but most of them I do, I think. And so what I did was I printed them off once, and then I copied and pasted and printed them off a second time. And the reason I did that is because I want to put one label on my embossing folder. And then it's got the part number and the price, just in case, somebody at a class is interested, or when they're retired, I may put them for sale and I know how much the retail value was to help me determine what my sale price will be. And then the second label, the bottom half, I pop right on the bottom of my sample tag so that I know which embossing folder goes with which tag. So let me grab my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and I'm just going to show you exactly how I did that. So I've got my cut and emboss machine here. And if you look on any cut and emboss machine, it doesn't have to be the Stampin' Up one. It could be, the Sizzix one, or like any of them. And they all come with a base plate. And as far as I know, every single base plate has a little menu here with the recipe for each type of technique that you want to use. So if you're cutting thin dies, you would use the base plate plus your thin die adapter, which is this on this machine, it's the number 2 plate, and then 2 number 3s. So if I was cutting dies, this is what I would use. If I was embossing with a regular embossing folder, which, let me see if I can find one. Most of them are 3D now. The Raindrops is a regular embossing folder. And it's much thinner. Like if you compare that to one of the 3D embossing folders, the difference in the thickness is like, it looks to me like it's, I wouldn't say double the height, but it's way thicker than just the basic embossing folder. So for a regular embossing folder like this, I would use my number 1 plate and my 2 number 3 plates. And it tells you that right here on your menu. And then if you're using a 3D folder, which is the thicker one that I showed you, you would use your base plate, which is number 1, and then this gray plate, which is number 4. And that tells you right here that that's how you're going to do it. So let's go ahead and do the thin one first, the Raindrops. So I'm going to grab a piece of Balmy Blue. I think this is Balmy Blue. No, it's not Balmy Blue. It is, oh, what is this? Pool Party. Good grief. You think I'd know that? Okay, so I'm just going to pop that into my embossing folder, but I'm not going to bring it right over the whole edge, simply because this is such a small little area that if it gets embossed, I'm a little bit worried that it would tear. So I'm going to leave about a 1/2 inch at the top, and now I'm going to put my other number 3 plate on top of that. I'll shove that down a little bit. Oh, one thing, really, really, really important. Your embossing folders always go with the hinge side first, okay? Now, occasionally you can put it sideways if you need to, just because of the nature of the beast. If you want your embossing to go a certain way and you can get it to fit that way, you can put it in sideways. But mostly you want to have your hinge going into the machine first. And the reason for that is simply physics. If you put it in this way first and the hinge is on this side, what's going to happen is the pressure is going to push your top plate, and eventually this will just erode and crack and break, and your embossing folder will be no good. Like, it'll be in 2 pieces. All right, so let me put that on there. I've got my hinge facing the right way, and I'm going to pop my other number 3 plate on there. So let's run that through. Okay, so there's our little tag. Isn't that cute? So this is great because now you have a reference, right? So let's try a 3D embossing folder. So I'm not going to use my 2 number 3 plates this time. I'm going to use my number 4 plate because this is a 3D. Look how thick it is, a 3D embossing folder. So let me grab another piece of cardstock that I've pre-cut, and I'm just going to line it up like I had before. So I've got about a 1/2 inch sticking out the edge. And then let me pop my number 4 plate on top of that, and we'll run that through. And it is a little thicker. It's going to give you a bit of resistance, and that's okay. Woo, that's okay. And yes, it does sound like you're tearing the house down, but that's okay. And there we have our little tag for that one. Whoops. All right, so let's put this out of the way. So now what I do is I have created an Excel spreadsheet with all of the embossing folders that are current. And I was trying to use up some, like 1/2 sheet. So it's a little bit messy, this one. But that's okay because I've already done these. I just printed this off to show you what I'm doing. So what I've done is I've printed it, I've loaded it on twice. So I brought over my Excel spreadsheet and it ended here. And then what I did was I just copied all of these cells and pasted them onto my Word label document. And so that I have two sets of labels. This PDF is available. If you would like one, just give me a quick email at critters'ninc@gmail.com and I'll be happy to send you the PDF. And so I put one on the embossing folder. That's why I print off two. I put one on the embossing folder, and then I put one on my embossed tag. So this one is the 3D Basic embossing folders. This is an online exclusive. There's three of them in the collection, these three. So if you haven't seen these, they're absolutely lovely. So there's three of them in a set for $41 in Canada, and they're in the online exclusive. So if you want to check them out, just go to my website, which I'll post below. And actually, I'll post a link right to the online store. And yeah, you can check them out there. So this is I have this one numbered 1 of 3. So then I would come down to the second one. Well, I guess it doesn't matter. 1 of 3. And then this label is going to go right here so that I know that if this is the embossing folder I'm looking for, I'm going to look for this label on my embossing folders. Okay. So that's my tip. And then I just keep them on a shower hook. I'm not sure where I got these darker shower hooks. I think I got them at HomeSense or maybe even the dollar store. I don't remember. I didn't pay a lot for them, that's for sure. And I just keep these handy so that if I'm looking for an embossing folder, I just scooch through and see which ones I have. And whenever I get a new one, then I just make a new label, like a new tag, and pop them on here. And I just keep them in alphabetical order so that they're easier to find. And then I keep these ones are in alphabetical order too. And this little box, I believe, just came from the dollar store. So that's how I do that. So if you have any questions or you would like a copy of this label sheet, please let me know. I'd be more than happy to help you out. Thanks for spending a couple of minutes with me. Have a great afternoon, and we'll see you soon. Bye for now.